from the ancestors.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we got some quick hits, bro. Have you ever seen a UFO?
Of course, and I could call them into existence too. You are those ain't that ain't nothing but your ancestors. That and actually you in the future.
Have you ever seen an alien?
Um, well, no, I haven't.
Have you ever seen anything supernatural?
I have. Um, and that's what I was talking about when I was saying study your ancestral knowledge.
Did man walk on the moon during the Apollo program?
Of course not. They said Daytona Beach, Freaknik somewhere.
Is there a God?
Of course, and God is both man and spirit. Uh, Man, it was spirit before it decided to bring itself into a physical existence. So if you don't have God, you don't have nothing. And all of those people out there that say God ain't real, you'll see. This ain't the only thing that exists. You gonna have to go to the other side.
All right. Recommend your favorite black restaurant or one that you loved in Chicago.
Gladys's, but it don't exist no more. So I'm gonna go with Priscilla's or Sabrina's.
I think I've had Priscilla's. Not so sure about
And I'm gonna
Sabrina's.
say this. I'm gonna say this. If you eat the soul food, drink water with it instead of a Pepsi.
Man, yeah. Self
You
love
can
is good. The
have
whole
one, but
soul,
don't
right?
have both. You can have one, but don't have both. Give yourself a little bit of a break.
Yeah, and check out one of the previous self love to the nation. One of our previous episodes was on water, alkaline water. All right.
Exactly.
So you've recommended several books. We normally say recommend a book. So those books that you've recommended, are you recommending which one particularly would you want the nation to walk away with and read?
Ritual by Patrice Malidoma Somé.
All right.
But also, when you mentioned aliens,
Yes.
if people want references for information on that, uh, Credo Mutwa.
Yes.
And that's also ancestral.
Hmm. He sounds Creole.
South
A South
African.
African shaman, no
Yeah.
nothing to play with. I mean, serious power and knowledge.
Okay. Anything that we didn't go over today, anything that you wanted to discuss, right now we're
Yeah.
done with all my questions. So anything now is just conversation time.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the letter Y. And the reason why I'm gonna start off with the letter Y is because Y is the most important thing in the universe. Um, the letter Y actually represents a man's penis, the black man's penis. And that's the answer to every question that exists in the universe. That's the reason why the Y created itself, and that's the reason why it's a chromosome. So everything comes from that Y. So the Y is in the shape of a man's genitalia with his staff, and then the one testicle being an X, and then the other testicle being a Y. So the man has the man, woman, and child inside of him. And when he releases that Y, he gives a son, which is going to be him being reincarnated all over again. When he releases that X, he creates his daughter, which is his female energy and his female self. And I'm saying this because everybody needs to know that everything comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes from that Y chromosome. In the darkness was that Y chromosome. That Y chromosome was a penis. And it developed a body, and then it said, I'm God, and then it created everything else. So
Mm.
if you want to understand the world you live in, you got to start with organisms, you got to start with substance. But before it became a physical manifestation, it existed as Y. Why does God exist? Because. So when people ask why, the answer to that question is in and of itself. That is it. It is. And whatever is in front of you, you make sure you look, listen, and observe, and then dissect it. So whatever it is can be what it is. And then if it ain't, then you say what it ain't. So now we're talking about interpretation. Now we're talking about learning. Now we're talking about what it means to learn. And what it means to learn is you got to learn self first. And self, everything comes from that Y, including the X. So you got the Y, and then you got the X, which was the woman being added out of the rib. So if it was the Y there, and then God took that other piece and added it to make woman, now you can see the X. So these two chromosomes give us our physical existence. And from that, everything is a thought. So from that physical existence, the thoughts are building. So where we going to go next with the thought? So the next thought is you got to understand the spirit of the Y, which produced the body of the Y, the flesh of the Y. So now we got spirit, and that spirit spoke a word. We got word, now we got flesh, now we got symbols, now we got alphabet, now we got interpretation. And we got interpretation going from Hebrew, which is the words and the script and the letters that God gave to humans. And we went from Hebrew to Christian to Islam. So the three main religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, has defined everything that we know and understand in our world over the last maybe 3,000 years. And if you don't know anything about those things, you're in trouble. So going from those three things, we go into education. Well, what's important about education? The parts of speech and the orders of operation. And we're going to end it right there. Parts of speech. So the parts of speech could refer to any language. Whatever language you speak in, you need to understand the parts of it so you can interpret and communicate. And then once you understand that, you understand the order of operations, and that's dealing with all science and all math. And if you can understand how things operate and the order in which it operates, understanding is at your fingertips. And Elijah Muhammad told Farad Muhammad, he said, I'm seeking what it means to understand. So I'm going to understand what it means to understand. And when you get to that level, you just start demonstrating. And I understand that all I got to do is help children and people around me process symbols, sounds, and actions. And if we could do that at a high level and implement the culture into it, nothing can stop us. But you must understand that why. And nobody can understand it for you. Yeah. It's just something you got to do on your own, just like the Matrix. If you can't see it for yourself, then you ain't going to never see it. So everybody got to do their own work so that their own revelation will come from their own connection of the gold dust and the ether. And then you build that why, and then it becomes what it is. So there is no why, only do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when we spoke about a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the like stuff that's going on in our community. How can we rebuild a nation? And you were saying reconnecting with our ancestors, bro. And then you kind of mentioned it earlier today, and I guess so. Can you kind of break down what that means? Because you said something that my mom had said something a while back to me too. So go ahead. What do you mean by that? I don't think he can hear us. Hold on, we can't hear you. All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah. You was talking about reconnecting with our ancestors.
Yes. So what's the process, and or what do you mean by that? Because you're saying the problem is our disconnect from our ancestors. So
okay, I'm finna break it down, and I'm gonna get serious, and I'm gonna get deep, but I'm gonna also use our fraternity. Is that cool?
Hey, do your thing. If you got the guys looking for you, they ain't looking for me. Hey, but yeah, do you? I don't think he can hear me.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, well, Tori said it's cool, so it's on you and Tori. So go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Yeah, we got you.
okay, so I said I'm gonna use
Tori.
I'm gonna start off by using the letter A, right? So
Okay.
I'm asking a question to people that's here. What is the letter A?
Pyramid.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, if I had to say a hill, a mountain, the letter
The letter A. The letter A is the head of a ox.
Oh, okay.
It's the head, oxen's head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so if you point the point down, the other two horns point up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the letter A represents strength, it represents work, and a few other attributes. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because all symbols have a concept to go along with it.
Every single one.
And our fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, I've done some research on it, and I understand that our founders was using some information to generate prosperity. That letter K is the symbol of prosperity in the Hebrew script. So I took the Greek form letters and wrote them in Hebrew.
Mm.
And then I took the power not only from the Greek, but also from the Hebrew.
Correct. You looked at it, you broke it down from both languages.
Right. But so when the founders put our letters together, they started with that K. And if you look at the number of the K and the spirit of the K and what it represents, it will give you a revelation of what Kappa Alpha Psi was all about. And that's talking about prosperity, even with the colors they use. Mm. So it's not just that we learning about the Greeks. Mm-hmm. It was pointing us to a direction of a higher understanding of our ancestors and what these letters and symbols represent, and how when we use them and when we adorn them and when we call on them and matriculate it, it sends something back to us. So I'm sure these two brothers that's on this call understand that wearing and representing those letters gave us power, gave us prosperity, gave us happiness. Yeah. So we got to take that and teach it and take it to another level. And I'm not talking about from a Greek point of view. I'm talking about from an ancestral point of view, from a metaphysics point of view, taking it from the physical to the spiritual and outside the spiritual, and then bringing it back to the physical so we could benefit. So I'm saying all that to say we didn't come in contact with these symbols and with this knowledge and with this information by mistake, but we got to learn it and use it to the high level of what it represents.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's knowledge,
so,
bro.
So I'm saying every letter has power, but we got to learn it, and then we got to implement it and apply it. And you know, it's coded, so we dealing with the breaking down those ciphers now. But I learned some very powerful things about our organization and how it actually transcends to academics and prosperity and ancestors in Africa and all of that. So I mean, of course, we're going to build on that in the future, but it's amazing, man. It was a lot more to it than what we know. It's amazing.
Yeah, there always is. I'll tell you that much. There always is. And I appreciate you sharing that